Good morning, Sun Up on 7 family. Thank you so much for joining us on this Wednesday. So, our first conversation is going to be an open ended one, and it's going to be a tribute to Kassman Gill, who yesterday was his 1 year anniversary of his death. And so, some of his classmates have reached out to us and they have shared some wonderful messages, some really affectionate ones. And we decided that we're going to have this conversation about him, right? Because one thing that we've realized is the value of remembering your loved ones, remembering your friends. So, Ren, I'm going to let you take the lead here.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Kev. Like you mentioned, this is an important conversation to be having. My heart would just move when I was like, something, it's more than just like, oh, someone's passing away. Like, I'm going to remember you no matter what. And I understand it's 1 year now. So yesterday, like Kevin mentioned, it's been a year since he died. And so here's a message from the class of 2023. This is from SJC, sorry. It has been said that if we don't remember someone out loud, they die a second death. But by verbalizing our love, SJC's class of 2023 continues to carry a torch that upholds Kassman's memory. And in this way, the class of 2023 also forces Belize to remember that this innocent teenager was cheated out of his life, his hopes, and dreams. Death ended Kassman's life, but not the relationship we shared with him. A year has passed since he was shot, and it has indeed been a long one. But it's important that we loudly express how much this loss is deeply felt and to let it be known that Kassman's life still matters to us. To our friend and classmate Kassman Gill, continue to rest in peace. Know that our senior year won't be the same without you, and we'll be saving you a seat in graduation. Your SJC brothers could never forget you. Oh, man.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's really deep, and I feel often whenever situations like this happen, we never think about the effect that it has on the people around them. We often think about the individual or the immediate family, but we do not think about the other persons around, especially like other young people and the relationships that they've had.
I think in general, when we think about losing someone, people often think that after a year it's gonna be better or whatever, and the road to grief, loss, reconciliation, just dealing with that pain, it doesn't necessarily always get better. Sometimes it's just like they live on. And my heart felt so moved because I read this last night, and then I read it this morning because I was trying to mentally put myself understanding the message is very powerful, seeing exactly, I will not forget you. And just like little things make you remember people, like just the idea now that they're going into their fourth form year. He was going to be going into his fourth form year with them right here. And they're going to save a seat for him for graduation. That's an impactful thing to be able to say, you know what? You are not forgotten. You are going to be here with us. And I think that's really important, that when you lose somebody, don't forget about it. Don't try to just drown those feelings, that loss. As you can see, these gentlemen, these boys, they're making that message, they're making that love, that relationship live on. What is so important to as well, they told me that when they go back to school, they want to organize something for him to commemorate him even further. So we're going to be able to have a story and a segment on that at a later time. But it just goes to show me that that love can echo in magnitudes when somebody is lost, that they're going to be remembered. You can make them live on as long as you want, even though they're not physically here. And that's important. So I know people, when we take loss, it's like that person is gone. They're never gone. They live on throughout you, that conversation, that memory, that sharing that story. And I have really great pictures here that I really want to share. This was sent in to as well. Just looking at him, you can see like he's a normal, humble young person.
Yeah.
And we have a clip here also from the father we want to share with you guys. This is when he was on Cut with Jules. So this is for you guys to be able to go through.
Okay, so we're having a
Since
picture.
that incident, to be honest, I don't know how I make it out of my bed, you know, some mornings, just to do regular function. And you got to pass to go to the bathroom. And normally, I would glance in the room, check on my daughters, and his room is right there, adjacent to theirs. You know, it's difficult, man. You know, there's no word to explain. You know.
Yeah,
It's an excruciating pain. You know, you are used to going to buy food sometimes, and you normally would buy 3 food. When you go now, you buy 2 instantly. You know, it hits. You know, I just went in like shock. You know, I just like started screaming on top of my voice. You know, no, no, no. You know, the funny thing about it is that 3 days prior to that, me and him was hanging out, and I told him that we cannot take each other for granted.
Yeah.
I told him, I say, when any of us leave the house, we don't know if we're going to come. Immediately, when we got to the hospital, he needed a CAT scan to determine the extent of the spinal injury, right, and the lung. They don't have a CAT scan machine there.
Wow.
They don't have an MRI machine. So we made arrangement to take him to the medical associate. Right?
Mm-hmm.
This was about 5 o'clock. I got there, I made the necessary arrangement. It was about $350 for the CAT scan. But if I got there 5:30, it would be $650. Yeah, we got him over there like 5:35. So it was $650.
Yeah.
Saturation, 99%.
Wow. So again, even though it's a year, we still want to extend condolences to the family of Kassman Gill. I'm sure, you know, it's still fresh, it's still heavy. Grief goes in many faces. And if there's one thing that we can learn from the classmates of Kassman Gill, you know, is how acceptance helps in the healing process. And I think that's absolutely beautiful. And there's so much to learn from them. And also the fact that there's something that can stimulate them to be better people, to like see that situations like this don't happen anymore. Yeah. It's a really heavy conversation to have.
Is.
For sure.
I know we have guests in the chat talking about how, you know, traumatic it is for a young person to lose their classmate, to lose their friend. Like, we're thinking about the family, but I'm just also trying to focus on these young men too as well that have shared so much memories, that think you never really look at somebody and think, you're not gonna make it with me. You're not gonna graduate with me. And I think that in itself is something very big to think about what they're going through. So I also want to encourage the families of these young men to please comfort them, reach out to them, allow them to share that moment, to cry, to know that it's okay to cry, to feel what they're feeling. It's hard, and it doesn't necessarily always get easy for the family losing a child, you know, in this magnitude. Like they mentioned, like he was robbed of his hopes, his dreams, that chance in society. And we want to make sure we always remember Kassman Gill regardless. And thank you so much, class of 2023 at SJC, for reminding us to remember, because he will not die a second death. He lives on, and thank you so much for commemorating him and allowing that relationship to continue on and flowing with love.
Definitely. You know, I'm a spiritual being, and also like coming from Maya Mestizo culture is like whenever we remember our loved ones, it doesn't have to be their anniversary. If you can just put a candle for them and a glass of water, that really like goes a long way into the spiritual realm. And if you ever watched Coco, you know that the value that it has in remembering your loved ones is like their memory lives on. And, you know, cherish every moment that you have with them. And we leave you with the last words that his dad said, which is that you have to like value every minute that you have with them, right? Do not take people for granted, tell them you love them, and, you know, make every moment the best one. So we end of this segment with the song from Britney Starr, and we go into a commercial break. When we're back, we're going to be talking about STEAM implementation in Belize. So stay tuned for that conversation.
Kassman, Gill, me coulda never forget you. Watch your pass every day after school. Well sharp, very smart man, a young man just a fight to get yourself an education. But Belize streets in a like this, it just a eat up the youth them